Hey everybody, thank you for watching Woodcrest Bonsai. Today I'm going to finish up trimming my Parrot's Beak in ice cream containers. And we do the usual process of removing all the growth that's elongated. Oop, missed one over here. And then we're going to look at what we got here. And well, I wouldn't say this is my finest one. And once again we have very stovepipe trunk from here to here, exactly the same thickness, no taper. So, and then I have kind of just a stub here where I cut really hard. And there's also no movement, there's not much anything. So this is another one that I'm probably, usually when I run into something like this, because remember, I just put these guys in pots and then just kind of let them grow. And the cutbacks and everything sometimes are just to keep them from getting too crazy. And then I work on the styling a little bit later. So this one here, it has many options. I'm thinking of just cutting all of this off and making this the leader, but we'd still have the stovepipe. And I am actually thinking of doing this, taking it all off and having the tree right there. And that would really eliminate a lot of the stovepipe. It still would be there, but once we have a much smaller tree, that will be much less noticeable. Another thing about this guy is that the roots are hidden. You see there's no roots exposed. So if I come down into here and start to root around in the soil, I may find some decent taper and some decent roots. So for today, that's really all I'm going to do on this one. It's definitely a future decision. I really am leaning towards taking it like that though. And if I do that, I still have this top that I can root, and it's already got some neat movement and branching. So I will basically be making two trees out of one. This stovepipe is going to be very difficult to rectify unless, once again, I just put it in the ground or in a huge pot and just let it grow like crazy. So this one is certainly not, it's not going in a bonsai pot next spring. Like I have said, I'm going to take some of my favorites, put them into bonsai pots. Now this is an interesting little tree. And when I say little, it's because it's going to be much shorter than most of the rest of them. And this one has some growth down here that I want to show you. Basically another water shoot right there. And Parrot's Beak tend to sucker from the base like that. I put some in the ground and they ended up all multi-trunk, which I really didn't want. But I can still take some cuttings. They've got some nice thick trunks. Much, much, much thicker even than the ones that were in the ground underneath the bench that I just did a video on getting them out of there because they were so invasive. So there's a sorry. So there's a much littler guy, and I think I'm going to take this branch here, chop it way back. We're going to have a much smaller tree with this guy. And we have another one that's just probably more in, the classic way I've been styling these guys. And it has another water chute. And as you can see, if we lift up the tripod, the water chute is about 2.5 feet. And they really don't do anything for the tree. So the water chute comes off, and I'm going to do that with concave cutters. And the rest of this tree has some pretty nice movement. It's kind of that gracefulness that I'm looking for in young trees like this. Very nice movement. It would be a slanting trunk. There's maybe a little excess. I think I'm just going to take this whole thing off and make this the leader, make it a real slanting trunk. I could chop it to there and bring it back. So chop it to here and bring the tree back up that way, which would also make an interesting tree. So now I've confused myself yet again. So should I just leave it? That's the beauty of growing your own trees. You can decide, sometime later. Actually, I really kind of liked that. If you want to leave a comment about which one you like, either this like this, or take this off and make it slanting. And right now, it's not necessary to make that decision. And a lot of times that's based on my mood. If I'm in a chopping mood, then I'm gonna do it, and if not, then I can wait on it. Okay, here is number 4. Another one that's not necessarily the finest tree. This has a huge trunk chop in the back too. So that has created a tremendous amount of taper, which is good. You want taper. Now I have this growth right here, which we kind of, if we bring it like this, so if this is going to be the leader, then this guy comes off because it's in the middle of the curve. We have a first main branch here, and I could conceivably chop this off and make this the leader, although I just broke it by messing with it. So may as well just take it off. There we go. And then I think I'm going to shorten this guy quite a bit too. So it'll be, oops, I'm way off. It'll be a much smaller tree also. And I really didn't plan this. I kind of just randomly grabbed them. And it seems like this batch are honorable mentions. Okay, here's number 5. Chop off the excess. Then reduce some of the smaller growth too. So where are we going with this one? This branch here is way too heavy to be the second main branch. And once again, do we do that and make the tree like that? Or do we take this off completely? And what I can do is I can just create a little stub here, and then I should get some growth out of there. So that's what I'm going to do, because I don't like how heavy this is. I mean, this is thicker than the main trunk, if this part is the main trunk. So I'm going to come into here and then plan on getting some growth to shoot out of there, right out of here, to shoot horizontally. So there's another one that's gone through a little bit more skeletonization. Okay, so that's the 5 in ice cream containers. Ooh, a mint chocolate chip, one of my favorites. And now I'm going to show you another one that is in a very interesting container indeed. This is dishwashing liquid. I took a dishwashing liquid container and I just cut it down, put some holes in it, and I mean, it's working. And I mean, it's nice and thin. I have some oval bonsai pots that are almost in exactly that same shape. So this guy is going to get the same treatment, cutting off all the excess. And this is a different batch than the other ones. I don't know if you can tell, but a lot of the growth, see how heavy it all is? It's definitely a different batch than the ones in the ice cream containers. This is an older tree. However, it's not necessarily, you know, all this heavy growth comes off just the same as the young growth. So this is going to be a much smaller tree too, and I'm looking maybe at this as the front, like that. So, but I do like the movement, and it's got decent taper, even though it's in a very funky pot. Hey, it works for me, so far at least. So Parrot Beak are quickly becoming one of my favorites, but I promise I will start to feature some different species in the next few videos. Actually, I think I'm going to do a video on spines, and kind of tongue-in-cheek talk about my fetish with spines, because I have at least 6 or 7 tropical trees that have spines. And in fact, these babies have spines. Parrot's Beak produces a nasty little spine. Many times as bonsai, because you're trimming all the time, the spines don't manifest, because most trees that produce spines produce it off of fresh new growth, and of course you're limiting the fresh new growth on a bonsai. But anyway, so I guess I ought to put this in the middle of the thing, right? One day I'll get my production quality better. Please bear with me until then. So that's it, 5 plus 1 Parrot's Beak in containers, ice cream and otherwise. Oh, look, I'm supposed to recycle it. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you'd like, especially on that one tree. Do you want to see it slanting, or do you want it to go back more upright? If you subscribe and hit the notification bell, you'll be able to continue to watch these guys develop next time I make a video on these guys. And my goal is, once 2 or 3 years have gone by, is to give you 2 or 3 years worth of development on these trees. And so this is, you know, that stage where we're still sorting things out as far as how tall is it going to be, where the branch is going to be, what kind of style do we want. Do we want slanting, informal, upright, etc., etc. So as they develop closer to finished trees, you'll be able to see that if you subscribe and hit the notification bell. So that's it, Melina. Remember, I forgot that Melina was spelled with a silent G, so I was always confused in the beginning. But they do make great bonsai if you're in a tropical area. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.